I had no idea what he was talking about. I was so confused. He's like, we don't do this too often, just every once in a while. You know, it's a birthday, so it's a special occasion, so that's why we're getting this treat. And I'm like, yeah, a treat. Maybe we're gonna eat some cake. Some delicious, calorie-packed, chocolatey birthday cake. No, it wasn't birthday cake, it was crack!
According to YouTube's guidelines shown here, videos which intend to educate are documentary by nature and do not glorify the use of drugs. Both abide by the community safety guidelines and are eligible for monetization. The following video does not glorify the use of drugs. Instead, it attempts to be non-biased while delivering vital life-saving information disguised as entertainment.
The following story is something that I never planned on sharing. I've said that numerous times on this channel, but this is a story that I've actually never even told my own partner. I never even told my girlfriend this story. That means that I buried this one deep down. It's just something that I'm not proud of. Now, I don't like to play favorites when it comes to chemical compounds. You gotta look beyond ego and social conditioning, and you gotta see, wow, look at this motherfucker try to rationalize smoking crack. You gotta see all of these drugs are simply just chemicals, and it's us humans that label them as good or bad, albeit some of these labels are justified. In the case of things like crack or what is largely considered to be its cousin, methamphetamine, these are things that most people should avoid like the gosh darn plague. As many meth users say, it's the sort of thing where once you try it, you realize that life is never going to be the same again without it. Meaning they're never going to feel those levels of pleasure unless they continue to smoke crack for the rest of their life. And that's probably why it becomes the drug of choice for a lot of people who sell their bodies. I mean, there's some people who sell their bodies who want to be in that line of work, and that's totally on them. But then there's others who do it just because they're addicted to drugs like crack. In fact, I have a story of one time when I was doing MDMA and I found myself on the street back in my old city where all of the hookers hung out on, and I was with a friend and I kind of lost him. I think he was actually looking for a prostitute, and he was too embarrassed to tell me, so he just like disappeared. And I found myself high out of my mind on MDMA, and I was talking to all of the hookers and I was asking them all what drug they were on or what drug they were trying to get money for, and it was a resounding crack. In fact, every single one of them that I spoke to said that crack was their drug of choice. Maybe it's just the area, but I was personally shocked not to hear meth. So maybe that was just a crack corner. I don't know. I do know that these are drugs that take people into the deepest, darkest depths of their souls, and a lot of us never escape it. It becomes a lifelong battle that sometimes results in taking the person's life. So I need to preface this video with this huge speech to make it very, very clear to everybody watching that I am not a proponent of smoking crack cocaine. This is a story from my distant past, and the title holds true. I was more or less tricked into this experience, which is probably why I've never really wanted to talk about it, because it's just a really messed up, weird story. But you guys love these messed up weird stories. I don't know. It's that gosh darn YouTube algorithm. It favors people being absolutely crazy. So yeah, let's get on with this story. Treat it as a warning to always pick your friends wisely, which a lot of us learn the hard way through our youths, making tons and tons of gosh darn mistakes. Anyway, we should probably start at the beginning. The unfortunate acquaintance who offered me the crack was none other than Rich. He's a dude that I met at the local YMCA. I used to be quite buff and I worked out regularly. I probably met him when I was around 19. Would have been the age of this experience.
I'm on a movie. I like movies.
Sorry, Donnie, you got something put over your
We're
head?
taking the Chichimon boat across
The big canoe.
to the big canoe.
No, the big canoe is the boat.
We're taking the big boat.
I don't know if Adam can grab it from where he is. He might be able to grab it from where he
I
is.
can grab my balls from where I am, but that's about it.
No, it was 19 or 20. Let's get it straight. I think, you know, as you get older, I'm in my mid-30s now, all of this stuff just gets a little fuzzy. It's harder to recall. But this is an experience that I remember the highlights with clarity because it was just such a weird, messed up night. After this experience, I never saw him again or hung out with him again. I was really turned off of the dude, understandably so. So anyway, this guy I met at the gym, he was admittedly on a round of orals. I don't know what he was taking. The drug around that era seemed to be Anavar, or, you know, Winstrol was very popular. Not to, you know, humble brag here, but when I was younger, just naturally, I was quite strong. He used to always get frustrated that he was taking steroids and I wasn't, and we either were on par with most of my lifts or I would outperform him, and we worked out with the same intensity. And keep in mind, he was pretty buff. Like he was noticeably bigger than me. Chalk that up to the steroid use. But I had a lot of strength. I was a little bit shorter than him. He was a short guy too. Us short guys, apparently when we meet, we like to stick together and trick each other into smoking crack. short guys. That was just a little footnote there. We used to work out together. I was stronger. That was before I got older, and now I've learned my testosterone is in the shitter, but we'll make a video on that. Anyway, so I knew this guy from the gym. He was in a relationship with an older woman. She was 30, and he was 21. That's right. He was 21, and I was 20 because I remember he was a year older than me. So there's the age. Or was I 19? God damn, it doesn't matter. I was 19 or 20 and he was 21 or 22. Irrelevant, really. He was a little bit older than me. At this time, I was in a really weird place in my life. I was in a back and forth merry-go-round with my daughter's mom. I had a daughter at the age of 17. He had a kid too, so we had a lot in common. We were both short. We loved to work out. He had a higher affinity for drugs. I wasn't quite there yet. This was during a stage where I was all like, oh, well, drugs are bad, even weed. I thought that I was higher and better than people who did drugs. The guy telling you that he smoked crack is saying that. But I loved me some alcohol. At this point in my life, couldn't live without alcohol. I was getting shit-faced, blackout, pulverized, drunk on the regular because I was trying to self-medicate for some serious depression, as a lot of young people do. So I went to the birthday. I planned to just get drunk. I brought my friend Mike with me, another gym buddy. Mike loved to get shit-faced drunk too. He was also having a little back-and-forth tussle with his girly girl. Yeah. We actually got in a car accident together where we slammed into a tree at like 80 kilometers an hour and both lived. Good old days of getting in car wrecks because you're so depressed speeding in the snow. Anyway, so Mike and I are at this party. It was weird. I remember it was just filled with old folks and I was kind of like hoping to meet some young, cute girls. And Rich said that he had this awesome girl that he could hook me up with. She was into me, but I wasn't into her. I believed to have these high standards. Meanwhile, I was going back and forth with a girl who was destructive and abusive and ruining my life. I was all over the place. I was a massive contradiction. So I wasn't really too pleased with this girl that he was trying to set me up with. So I was just there and I was feeling even more depressed because part of me was like, yeah, I'm really hyped for this party because I'm going to meet this girl. Maybe I can finally get over my ex. And at this time, I had no idea how to meet women. So I was there and I was just pounding back the drinks. Drink after drink after drink. Just pounding them back. And Mike was with me. Mike's pounding them back. And I remember there was this weird incident where Mike and I decided to be alone and have like one of our heart-to-hearts. We're depressed because we miss our girlfriend chats that we love to have. And I don't know why, but I remember him getting really angry. And he was like throwing this chair. It was in like a front room to the house. You know, one of those little corridors between the front door. And he was just whipping this chair. And I was like, dude, you got to calm down. He was getting rowdy. The whole night just turned into a shit show, really. It was a shit show. I remember that I went inside, and keep in mind, I'm super smashed at this point. And Richie's looking all excited. He's like getting hyped. His eyes got all big, and him and his girlfriend, they're on the phone. They're setting something up, and he's like, hey, Adam, we got a treat coming. We got a treat. And I remember this part clearly. And I'm like, a treat? What's that? He's like, oh, you'll see. You got to try it when it gets here. We got a friend. He's bringing it here. And I'm like, what is it? Some kind of like real strong alcohol? Oh, it's so naive. The thought that this guy was getting any kind of hard drug was so out of my mind. I couldn't take his hint. I didn't get it. I had no idea what he was talking about. I was so confused. And he's like, just keep an open mind. We don't do this too often. This should have been my giveaway. He's trying to justify it. He's like, we don't do this too often. Just every once in a while. You know, it's a birthday, so it's a special occasion. So that's why we're getting this treat. And I'm like, yeah, a treat. Maybe we're going to eat some cake. Some delicious icing, calorie-packed, chocolatey birthday cake. No, it wasn't birthday cake. It was crack. It was that crack cake, baby. So they're setting it up. And I remember I was so confused, but I was super smashed. And I'm just like, I just remember he just kept saying the word treat. We're getting a treat. We're getting a treat. It's a treat. It's a treat. He's all like getting like super excited about it. Like his wife's on the phone. And she's like, oh, you can deliver it? It's getting delivered. And he's so excited that this f***ing treat's getting delivered. And I'm just like, okay. I guess we're getting a treat. I hate to interrupt this super interesting video, but I gotta give a shout out to my video sponsor, which is me. If you support the channel and you enjoy these videos, head on over to psychsubstance.shop and pick up your very own hooded trip blanket. I believe we have these in stock now, meaning if you order, you don't have to wait forever for a pre-order. You will actually have it delivered soon, I think. Don't quote me on this. Regardless, even if you're pre-ordering them, it's worth it. These are awesome hand glove mitt things that can double as pockets, and it is extremely soft, and they're designed by trippers for trippers, because everybody knows when you're in that, trip, you really want something soft just to rub on your face. Yeah, so head on over to psychsubstance.shop, support the channel, pick up a hooded trip blanket today, and let's dive right back into the video. So it comes, and I remember I'm asking him, I'm like, well, what is it? He's like, oh, it's something that you smoke and you feel great. Keep in mind, my drug knowledge was so bad. Abysmal, zero. I didn't even know what methamphetamine was. If somebody told me I was smoking crystal meth, I remember there was this song that I listened to that was called Crystal Meth. And I'd be like, you're smoking a rock song? I had no idea. No idea. My drug knowledge was zippo. I knew what cocaine was. Obviously alcohol and weed and salvia because I had tried it. I knew what acid was. I knew that it tripped you out. I had no idea about any drugs, let alone crack. I had no idea what that was. So their treat comes and he's setting it up and he's got a can and he's like, oh, you can actually smoke it out of a can. And I'm like, a can? He's got a f***ing Coke can. Talk about a crackhead. He's literally smoking his crack out of a Coke can. So he's setting up this can and he's like, so all you do is you light it up here and then you breathe in. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm good. I'll pass. You guys can enjoy the treat, but I'm good with my alcohol. He's like, no, man, you got to do it. You're going to feel so good. It's going to be the best thing. You're going to be so happy that you did it. And then his wife chimes in. Keep in mind, they got their gosh darn kid, like, sleeping in the house. And they're down there getting smashed with their crack treats. They were, like, seriously pressuring me. And I remember I could see Mike in the corner, and Mike's just like, he had, like, the evil I'm going to smash him to kill everybody eyes. I don't know. Mike was, like, roid raging or something. He's like... He's shaking his head at me, and I'm just like, I can't trust Mike. He just threw a chair at me. So I'm there. We got Rich and his creepy girlfriend / wife, old lady. I mean, I'm older than her now, but at the time, I'm like, who's this old 30-year-old broad? What's she trying to feed me some treats for? What am I, 12? So I got them pressuring me. Keep in mind, I'm smashed and I don't know what it is. They don't tell me. And even if they did, I wouldn't have known. They're like, listen, it lasts like 5 minutes. You feel great. And then that's it. And I was like, oh, maybe. This was like peer pressure times a million. This is the definition of peer pressure. I mean, I'm depressed. I'm drunk. They won't tell me what the actual drug name is. They keep calling it a treat. They say it lasts really short. And I'm thinking in my head, oh, so it's like salvia. Salvia lasted like 5 minutes. It was over with real fast. But that wasn't a treat. Salvia was terrifying. I don't want to do salvia. And he's like, no, it's not salvia, Adam. It's not salvia. You'll see. So he does it, and then his wife does it. They get even happier. And I'm like, oh, shit. If I'm going to do this, I got to get even more smashed. So I pound back more drinks. Keep in mind, I'm already over the limit. I'm out of my face, off my tits. I am so drunk that I actually don't remember taking the treat. Highlight of the story. I don't even remember. I have a vague imprint of them holding the can. Like, I'm so drunk I can't even hold the can. Like, seriously tricked into smoking crack. What the fuck? I'm like this, okay? And they're holding the can. And I just remember someone saying, now breathe, breathe. And then my next memory is I'm laying down in a bed. I shit you not. This is how fragmented it is. It's like, breathe, take a big hit, hold. Next memory, I'm in a bed. And Mike's like shaking me, and I open my eyes and I see Mike over top of me shaking me. He's like, Adam, you okay? I'm like, yeah, man, I'm just really tired. Smokes crack, passes out. Keep in mind, we're combining it with a buttload of alcohol, which is not safe ever. Mike's like, I just want to make sure you're okay. I was like, yeah, man, I'm good. Just let me sleep. And I slept. That is all I remember. I remember hitting this crack can, finding my way upstairs and falling asleep. And then I remember waking up the next day and finding out that it was crack. And Mike's like, hey man, they gave you crack, right? And I was like, what? What's crack? He's like, crack's like smokable cocaine, dude. And I'm like, cocaine? I could hear like the Kill Bill sirens going off because I'm like, they fed me cocaine? I thought cocaine was the evilest of evils. And I did not want that evil shiznat near my gosh damn face. They fed me smokable crack cocaine when I was off my tits drunk. I later did try cocaine, and I learned that it just doesn't. Certain drugs don't work for certain people. For me, cocaine didn't really do much of anything. It actually felt similar to good old coffee. Like, I remember thinking from cocaine, wow, this just feels like I've got a really strong coffee buzz. Like I just chugged like 3 coffees. That I didn't get euphoria from it. You could say, Adam, you're lying, but no. Every drug affects every person in a different way, and cocaine just never did it for me. I remember something similar from what I can extract from my fragmented shit-faced memories. Also, this is what they told me. They said I smoked it. I commented that, I didn't really feel much. But I was really tired and nauseous from being drunk out of my mind. I went upstairs, and then I was pacing a lot because I used to hate puking, so I'd try to hold in, so talk about an idiot, the alcohol, so I wouldn't puke. And I was basically just trying to make it so I didn't puke. But I think I was so drunk that I didn't really feel it. I think that's what happened. And I remember Mike actually contested this. He's like, no, man, when I shook you and tried to wake you up, this is what here's Mike's story. Mike said, I shook you and your eyes smashed open and you were like, what do you, he told me that I was like hyper, like mega alert hyper, but I'm like, but I was sleeping? That's what he says. He said I was hyped, but I went back to bed. I don't remember that. I don't know. Maybe his memory was a little clogged up from all that boozing too. Who the F knows? I just know that motherfucker tricked me into smoking crack cocaine. What a ridiculous thing to do to a young, impressionable 19 or 20-year-old kid. Ridiculous. Oh, crazy. Crazy what some people do. I don't know why he wanted to share it with me so much. I don't know. Maybe he actually, like, he naively thought that it was going to help improve my mood. I have no idea. He knew that I was depressed with my girlfriend, and like, talk about good friends. Hey, my buddy's depressed. He's obviously got a drinking problem. Let's throw on some crack to the mix. Yeah, let's just see how he likes this. I don't know. People are stupid, man. Stupid. Honestly, I wish I could remember it. I don't like demonizing compounds, but it just left a real bad taste in my mouth, and I don't really remember. But I do recall clearly thinking, I don't really feel anything. Similar to the first time I tried cocaine, I was drunk out of my mind, and I remember thinking, wow, I just feel less drunk. Like, that was my exact thought the very first time I tried it, because I was so smashed. I was like, so what was the point of drinking all that alcohol if I just took this and now I just feel like I'm not drunk anymore? I was actually frustrated with it. I was like, oh, you gotta do more. So I remember I did more lines. And again, I was like, now I feel even more sober. I don't know, man. I feel like now that I've gotten older and more like aware of how things affect me, more sensitive, it can actually happen, I would probably have a different experience with cocaine. Maybe we'll do a future video. I really don't think so. But yeah, there it is. There she blows. This was the story of blowing. Doing hard rock blow. Rich never saw me again after that. I mean, he tried to call me, but I was honestly, understandably so, like, really perturbed, really upset with the guy and his creepy old hag wife. Like, how dare they? Choose your friends carefully, guys. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you smash that thumbs up button, leave a big like, and leave a comment down below to help the algorithm push this video to mass audiences so you can all learn to choose your friends more wisely. And do not smoke crack, guys. Really, don't ever touch that shit, please. It's not worth destroying your life. Till next time, stay safe, guys. I love all you guys watching. Leave a bunch of comments below for the algorithm. If a lot of you guys comment really quickly, then it boosts the video's exposure and the channel can do better. And I will see you guys all in the next one. Take care, everybody. This was an interesting one.